Welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man back in the studio. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and warcry content as well. Today, we're taking a look at the Avatar of Khaine in a little death match against a Dreadnought, a Chaos Warband, and a Primarch. See how he matches up. Codex Aeldari is up for pre-order this Saturday, and it's set to change the way the Aeldari forces play. Like you, we hear the beating of the war drums and the chant of the craft world preparing for war, and we really want to just see how wild the Avatar of Khaine is in combat. So here we have that new Avatar of Khaine model, absolutely stunning, love this model. A couple things I might change or modify, but overall great looking model, nice sculpt. We've already seen his rules, well, some of them, but there's only one way to get across just how powerful a combat monster he is, by throwing it into the crucible of combat with a series of increasingly deadly adversaries and seeing where the dice land. The Avatar of Khaine versus a Redemptor Dreadnought. Match 1. Fight. The Redemptor rolled to go first, preparing the Avatar with a high yield munitions and landing one searing plasma bolt, which caused an almighty 2 wounds, thanks to the Avatar's ability to have incoming damage. So it's basically just a death match. They roll to see who goes first. They must be like starting a certain distance away, and then obviously fight it out from there. The heated Hulk strode forward through the onslaught, unleashing a flurry of 7 piercing blows, dealing 1d6 plus 2 damage each, which peeled the Redemptor like an orange, sending its reactor into meltdown and causing a catastrophic explosion, which the Avatar walked right through without breaking a stride. So they don't actually say anything about the Avatar shooting back or anything like that. So I don't know, maybe they're just doing highlights. I wouldn't mind hearing a little bit more detail than that. But hey, result, 16 damage dealt. Avatar, don't look back at explosions. So pretty impressive. Avatar of Khaine versus Manius Calgar of the Ultramarines. Nice paint job on that Avatar. I really like that. Even though he's now crossed the Rubicon Primaris, the Ultramarines' head honcho finds himself dwarfed by the new incarnation of the Avatar. Taking the initiative, Calgar unleashed hell, but his bolt rounds failed to make so much as a dent. He then pummeled away on the charge with his mighty gauntlets, barely scrapping together a single point of damage. In response, the Avatar unleashed the power of the Wailing Doom, making 7 attacks, hitting with 6 and smashing 3 lethal blows past Calgar's invulnerable save. These caused an average of 6 damage each, which even after being halved by the armor Heracles, was too much for Calgar's fragile constitution. Result, even with damage-having armor, the Avatar wins out. Sit down, little man. Okay, so I guess whoever goes first probably gets a shot off, and then the charge, and then after that they just fight in combat. That sounds realistic. The Avatar of Khaine versus a Keeper of Secrets. Man, another great model. Look at that paint job. That is just absolutely stunning. Slaanesh is the arch nemesis of the Aeldari, and Keeper of Secrets is a fitting foe for the embodiment of the craft world's wrath. Blindingly fast, this sinuous beast rolled to go first and cast delightful agonies to allow it to ignore wounds it took on a roll of a 6. Its living whip tickled the Avatar's molten chest, but this was followed up with a flurry of more painful attacks, landing a total of 6 wounds on the Avatar, even after damage reduction. The Keeper sneered with superiority right up until the Avatar hit back with a mighty flurry of 17 damage. Delightful agonies gave the Keeper just enough juice to survive on 3 wounds, and in the second round of combat, the Greater Demon even managed to take the Avatar down to its middle profile. But the middle profile doesn't reduce weapon skill, and the Avatar's riposte reduced the ancestral foe to a fine mist of musky ectoplasm. Result, a satisfying win, but the Avatar is definitely leaking hot metal. Blood by the end, no fall this time. So that's probably a more realistic or like even matchup, which you would expect. I think like 2 big models against each other, probably similar in points. Next we have the Avatar of Khaine versus the entire Chaos half of Eldritch Omens. So this is 5 of the Chosen, the character, and then they have the Which one? What's that one called again? Demon Engine. Oh man, I can't think of it. Yeah, they'll say in the article, I'm sure. It's rare for characters to duke it out in the middle of nowhere, so how does the Avatar fare against a small war host? Seizing the initiative, the Avatar rent the very ground with a linear torrent of psychic flame from its wailing doom. This was absorbed by the Forge Fiend's armor, though it automized a chosen. So that special ability for the Avatar where he could pick a target and then anything in between him and that target can get hit. Obviously, that was what killed one of the chosen, was in between him and the Forge Fiend. I would have rather have seen a Mauler Fiend variant against this because it's more of like a combat-oriented thing, but whatever. Anyway, so with a roar of crackling flame, the Avatar leapt into combat, forcing 5 hefty blows past the Demon Engine's warp-charged armor, dealing an eye-watering 15 wounds. Reader, it blew up. So, I mean, I guess realistically it wouldn't have gotten a chance to fight back anyway, so. The band of Chosen shot back, dealing 2 wounds before their perfidious warpsmith unleashed hell. He dealt a scary 8 damage, half to 4, with his meltagun, and another point of damage with an overcharged plasma bolt, which duly exploded, evaporating its twisted owner as millennia of poor weapon maintenance took their toll. Okay, that's interesting. So the warpsmith killed himself with the plasma pistol. Interesting. The Avatar then smashed in 12 attacks with his sweeping blows profile, laying the final 4 low without even breaking a molten sweat. Alright, so a couple complaints here. One, if something fluke like that happens, where you're overcharging a plasma pistol and the guy gets vaporized, I think maybe run that one back. 2, I would have rather seen some tactics involved here. So like maybe screening the Forge Fiend with the Chosen or something like that. I don't know. You know, not to pick here, but like these fights are obviously not strategic or like, you know, I don't want to say fair, but not realistic. So result, enemy forces eradicated, Avatar only hungry for more. I would have really liked to see how the Warpsmith does in combat because he's pretty beast too. So the Avatar of Khaine versus a fully tricked out Baneblade. Okay, interesting. Can a walking inferno defeat over 300 Imperial tons of Astra Militarum firepower? Let's find out. Before the Avatar could close in, the Baneblade fired every gun on its chassis, delivering a staggering total of 34 shots from its 2 cannons, heavy bolter sponsons, autocannon, and 2 las cannons. As the smoke cleared, the fiery form of the Avatar emerged, having taken a respectable 7 wounds. It flexed and hit back for a below par 10 wounds. With the 2 locked in combat, the Baneblade ran the Avatar before unleashing a point-blank salvo of destruction via Big Guns Never Tire, bringing the Avatar almost to its knees and its final profile. So I think it can shoot everything but its big gun into combat. So it can attack in melee back and then shoot all but the main sponson weapon. Actually, I don't even know. Does it have a sponson? Yeah, okay, it does. I couldn't remember if it was just mounted straight to the hull. As the smoke cleared, the fiery form of the Avatar emerged. Oh, sorry. Bellowing with the incensed rage, the embodiment of Khaine Khaine hit back with 5 attacks that absolutely chunked its super heavy adversary with an astonishing 28 wounds. More than enough to one-shot it in the first place. So what is it? I think a Baneblade has 24 wounds maybe or something, and it had already done 10. So 38 wounds in 2 rounds of combat. Definitely pretty good result. Pitiful Monkai machinery falls before the wailing doom. Just. So it sounded like that was a close one. So now here we are against Mortarion. Before we jump into that one, see, I would have rather seen like the Avatar versus Guilliman than the Avatar versus Manius Calgar. I think that would have been a little more realistic. I like that they have the vehicle. I like that they have the half of Eldritch Omens. But why not just skip over Manius Calgar? Like, let's be real, he's pretty much trash. And just have him fight Guilliman, because that would have been cool to know. So, the Avatar of Khaine versus Mortarion, Demon Primarch of Nurgle. Mortarion is one of the most formidable single combatants in all of Warhammer 40,000. How would the Avatar of Khaine fare against Nurgle's emissary? Our fiery favorite god, got the jump on, launched into Mortarion, unleashing a flurry of blows, dealing a whopping 17 damage, reduced to 8 wounds thanks to the Primarch's disgusting and revoltingly resilient traits, wiping a trickle of corrupted blood from a cut on his face. The Prince of Decay hit back with his trusty scythe, Silence, carving great chunks out of the Avatar, leaving him with 7 wounds. So he hit Mortarion for 17 damage, reduced to 8 with his disgusting and revoltingly resilient trait. So he basically cut that by over 50%. It's pretty good. So after the first round of combat, Avatar is down to 7 wounds, and Mortarion is down 8 wounds. Missing 8 wounds, however you want to word that. During the next round, Mortarion flubbed his psychic powers, failing to cast Miasma of Pestilence, and only causing a single mortal wound with Smite. Even the lantern glanced off the Avatar's roiling hide, but he did manage to chop the beleaguered Avatar down to 1 single wound. In return, the Avatar tapped into his last reserves of power, reducing the Pale King to a handful of wounds remaining, before Mortarion neatly lopped off his opponent's head, liquid fire spitting from the flesh wound. Cowed but not beaten, Mortarion returned to the warp to wrap a load of dirty bandages around his injuries. Result: extinguished by the power of a demon Primarch. So that's cool. I would think that Mortarion would be able to take down the Avatar. He's substantially more points, and he is a formidable combat foe, and also one of the most powerful psykers in the game. So that does not surprise me. There you have it. The Avatar is a combat powerhouse, more than capable of punching beyond his weight class and able to shrug off massive damage and to fight with all the rage the asuryani do their best to repress. He's not quite a one manifestation army though, so make sure that you are ready to pre-order Codex Aeldari this Saturday to provide an adequate vanguard to cut the heart out of your foe's forces. Once upon a time, the Avatar would have ignored superheated melt-a-shots, but now he's so tough he doesn't even need to. Fitting that Mortarion, notorious Psyker hater, would fumble his attempt to manifest warp powers. So anyway, those were like the little notes at the bottom. Okay, so we see the matchups here and everything. Now it's time to add in a little bit of our flavor, critique, Games Workshop some, and this article here. So, what would you have rather seen? What matchups? I really like the Mortarion matchup. That is excellent. I would have loved to see a Magnus matchup as well. That would be really cool. I do like that they did a Baneblade, like super heavy tank. That is pretty awesome. I would love to see a Imperial Knight, one of the combat knights. That would be really cool to see how he does against an Imperial Knight. Let's see, what else? So we got super heavy tank. We've got a knight. We've got Mortarion. We've got Magnus. I would like to see Guilliman. That would be really cool as well. And then what would be one more? What about Ghazghkull Thraka? What about Ghazghkull? Because Gaz can only take 3 damage in a single phase. So you could potentially shoot Gaz with your weapon if you get first turn. Then you could charge him and attack him. And that would be 6 of his damage right there. But then it would take a minimum 2 more combat phases to kill him. I believe. I think he has 12 wounds. So that would take a total of minimum 3 turns in combats to kill him. So would Gaz take down the Avatar in 3 or less rounds of combat? Curious. So yeah, I mean, that's some matchups I would like to see. I like the tank. That was cool. I like Mortarion. I want to see how he does against Magnus. I want to see how he does against an Imperial Knight. I want to see how he does against a Guilliman. And I want to see how he does against Ghazghkull Thraka. So let me know if you can think of any other super cool matchups or, you know, appropriate duels for the Avatar. You know, and maybe we'll match those up and roll them out and see what happens once we have the full rules in front of us. But that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the content. As always, make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and Warcry content. Everything from news, reactions, reviews, unboxings, and of course, we do all kinds of tutorials for how to paint, convert, magnetize, and of course, you know, pretty much anything to do with tabletop wargaming. But that is it for today. Make sure to like and subscribe, And of course, we are a commission-based studio, so keep your eyes out later today for a new commission reveal as it is going out of the studio, and you can see some of our work in progress. But that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.